Hello. Today I'm doing lamb. Let's just not rush into this. Let's try to do this somewhat professionally. There's a really awful machine coming through my window. Might I just mention this? I'm constantly having to tune out the most horrendous fucking shit coming from outside. He's like a maniac. He's been at this for a fucking minute or two. And the guy with the hammer's finally worn himself out. Oh, I'm not making any of this up. So let's just try to tune it out. Or I could put the sound machine on and the music on. And like, come on, my God. I know, right? So we're going to just try to tune it out. If it becomes too disruptive, I will go ahead and do all this routine of other stuff. It just gets tiring. Today, we're doing this lamb Italian dish, okay? You're cutting this up, you see? Okay. Hold on. Ta-da, okay? You want to salt and pepper that, okay? Here. Like that. Here. I'm going to go heavy on the pepper. Yes, I am. Okay? You're just browning it. So you know what we can do? We can turn the heat up. I forgot that. I would right now. I'm not surprised. Here. And we're going to add this to the bowl instead of dumping it into our food. Because it's a big old thing, you know? That, I would say, is a good enough amount of salt. It's kosher salt. I prefer to cook with that. Okay, so now we are doing this part. You want to get it some brown crust. Now this is an Instapot. So it's not going to be ideal concerning the crust aspect, but we'll get it as close as we can. This is a really easy dish. It's like a lazy Italian Sunday afternoon. You just do this process. You put it into your oven, you bake it. That's basically it. The only other thing you're expected to do for an hour and a half in the meantime while it's baking is make a lovely lemon. And then, if I read it right, a mint sauce. I think there's two different sauces. I know there's definitely a sauce. I think it's two. So look, that's it. In an hour and a half, you can't do that? Yeah, you can. This is a very fun and lazy Italian, wonderful stew. Okay, so we have our pepper and our salt here. Now, we normally would wait for this to brown some more. I'm going to go ahead and do that, but let me put these things back. Okay. All right. And this is the rest of our ingredients. About this point, go ahead and add your garlic. Let me just get this thing again. Okay. Now this is Instapot. This thing makes it a little bit of a drag to have to do these browning. No, it's not fun. It's not what you want to use normally. So, but we can do the best we can. Okay, we're adding garlic now. And even if you're using a regular skillet, you want to wait a minute or two before you add the garlic. Okay? And then, of course, then you have your half a cup of white wine and your little bit of tomato paste. This goes in before that. So let's just go ahead and get this over here. And we're waiting and waiting and waiting. For the Instapot, it takes so long, dude. That's why I don't go for the total brown crust thing. It's also beating the purpose because you don't want to cook your meat fully, dude. It's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to brown it fast, sear it, you know. Or forget it, you know. I'm going to do this a couple more minutes because it's the principle. And then I'm adding the tomato paste. And then I'm going to let the tomato paste, that'll help it adhere to the pan more. Because the objective is on a regular skillet to get the layer of flavor on the bottom of the skillet. And that's when you add your white wine. You kind of scrape it off with your utensil. And you fill it all into the baking pan. It's a very, very easy Italian dish to make. But in Instapot, it doesn't really do it justice. And I know that. So in this, but we're doing what we can. And it's nice to do this. It'll be very good. Be very good. So let's go ahead. If we got what we got to use as a stove, let's go ahead and put in a teaspoon. Yeah, of tomato paste, okay, folks? It's smelling lovely. You know, they know what they're doing. This is a little bit of Italian, a little bit of tomato, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of white wine, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt. They know what they're doing. And I really like it, how it's common over there for men to be active in the kitchen. It's just culture. I like it about them. And I think in Eastern India, you find a lot of men in India active, cooking too. It's a family thing. You hear me? That's the cultural aspect of it. The dinner is family. Like everybody engages in family. Somebody's making bread. Somebody's making a chutney. Somebody's making in India the curry. Grandma's making the curry. Grandpa's making the naan bread. Dad's making the chutney and mom's making the whatever. Right? And these memories the kids have of the whole family cooking at his life. So this is the point where I'm going to add my wine because we don't try to cook our food and obviously it's not going to really sear or crust, which is frustrating. But we know that. We expected that going in. I need to do this very carefully. Okay. This is horrendous. This is hardly even cooking the alcohol off. You just can't get this to get very hot. So just to let it cook longer because you gotta have the alcohol somewhat cooked off before you throw it into your oven. This is the whole principle. So there we are with that. And I mean, they have over there. I gotta go over there. If there's two places I want to study, it's China and Italy. I want to study. I mean, there's nothing wrong. I want to do that. It's a lovely dream. But they have the delis to go get all your salamis and stuff. But they make them over there. See, they still be making that in the house more than they buy it. Or maybe it's half and half. I can't tell you. I've never been there. But once I go there, I could. I think it's half and half. Maybe. I swear some of these people are still doing that. Because you really should. You should be making your own kid meats. Just doing this. Making your own pastas. And if you have to go to this lovely neighborhood trattoria or whatever, you pick it up on the way home. But I think it's still pretty common they're making their own Alfredos. Only in America do they literally buy absolutely everything. They think they are incapable of doing anything but buying stuff. Which, how does that liberate you? If you're a feminist, right, and you're so equal, how are you really if you can't even cook an egg? I know, don't ask them that. They'll become belligerent. Okay, there. That's off. We can leave it like that. I have to read the rest of these instructions. What was it? Paste. You put it in here. I think that was the next step. My memory's fucking shot here because it's so fucking stressful. So let me do a part 2. No stress. We're not going to add to it. And just double check what I'm doing. All right. God bless America. Say goodbye.